Right, let's go. 3v3 League, Season 5, Best of 5 playoff. This is Plebby Chase versus Anvil from the 6th Division. They're going to play a potential 5 games. Could be only 3. We don't know that yet. They've started with the map and civilization drafts. And for the map picks, we have Nomad as the first one for Plebby Chase. Not surprising because they have strong Nomad players in the team. Players that have been playing in Nomad 1v1 tournaments, probably in team game Nomad tournaments as well, as far as they go. Whereas Anvil also not necessarily a surprise picking Team Islands here. They've got some smart islands player that won some players that would do very well on focusing on water and some that would play landing very well, if I'm thinking it correctly. So they probably got some tricks upstairs. Leave for that one. Let's see for the bans. Arena is out of the question. So Plebby Chase don't enjoy the close maps all that much, and Anvil, knowing their enemies, wants to be rid of at least one Nomad map, so Land Nomad is also out. Second pick, Socotra, that's going to be a nice mess once we get to that, if we get to that. And finally, 4 lakes for Applejack's team, so another hybrid map that can't really say it compares to Nomad, but there's water involved, like on Nomad, so there will be some naval fighting, perhaps. Mediterranean is out, as is Hideout, so no closed maps for this series. And finally, Arabia to begin. Okay, that's not our friends from Anvil tagging. See if they call it Akkal or something. Groovy. Maybe. At least the lobby search is it's functioning, so that's good. Well, while we're at it, let's just have a look at the civilizations. First map is going to be Arabia. That's the trip down memory lane there that we're actually going to Arabia as the starting map. Players have secured the Britons, so Britain's not banned at all here. Players prioritizing bans for other things, like they don't want to face Spanish on Nomad, for example, and not Portuguese for Team Islands, I guess. Don't want those late game Vitorias. Goths, that's a surprising one for me. Where's Goths? I guess that's a Socotra ban. Socotra ban with Goths, and then the Guriar is just an all-rounder. That's good. Would make a decent Arabia pocket. Would be, yeah. Actually, I don't understand the Guriar's ban here. Maybe it's just because it's such an annoying sim to play against when they get to their power creep combinations. But for the first Arabia game, I am definitely expecting to see Britons on flank. Could be accompanied by the Davidians. Vikings has to be for a naval map. Vietnamese likely for Nomad. Mongols could be Socotra. Incas would also make a decent Arabia flank, but they're good with their towers and archers on Socotra as well. Japanese, 4 lakes, very likely. Malay, Team Islands, I would suspect. Magyars could be the Arabia pocket, because they'll probably want Huns for Lakes pocket with the scouts and everything. Italians, good all-rounder as well, but that's going to be for Team Islands. Burgundians is stranger for me. Plebichase versus Anvil, indeed. I mean, it could, even Burgundians could be an Arabia pocket. Teutons, another good all-rounder. Socotra pocket, perhaps, where speed doesn't matter as much. Turks, Nomad? Question mark. Castle Drop Janissaries could be strong. Bengalis, also for the naval maps. That's probably for Team Islands. And finally, Hindustanis could be another Arabia pocket. Also decent for the hybrid maps. Uh, but also the last pick. Trebuchets have been winning everything, but this is a best of 5 on 5 maps potentially, so I think there's be a good chance to pick off a game or two. Persians. 4 legs, Civ, probably. Mayans. Arabia flank, Ethiopians Arabia flank, Franks pocket for Arabia. Byzantines, another 4 leg civilization, I would assume. Koreans could be nomad. Would work decent on the full naval map as well. Lithuanians, 4 legs for sure. Berbers, Socotra perhaps. Faster moving villagers. Aztecs should be Socotra as well. Malians, definitely nomad. Khmer for could be a landing play on islands, team islands, but that's probably the Sicilians' job. So Khmer could also be a Socotra pocket. Saracens, faster firing galleys, handy for team islands. Good to take some responsibility for the naval fighting on the islands maps. Landing sim for team islands probably. Poles. Where do Poles fit in here? It has to be Socotra as well. Regenerating villagers. It's a good Socotra civ. Chinese, also a potential Arabia flank. Would make a good flank on 4 legs as well. And Tatars seems like a leftover civ kind of. So, but then they do decent with the cavalry archers on the hilly 4 legs, or a little extra food boost for Socotra would help as well. Don't see any lobby ID yet. And Bill. Let's try that. For pleb. If we can find it, inspect dashboard of it. Someone queue, please. Must have been waiting for a while. Browser, that should be good. There we go. At least we have it here. And that's in the lobby for now. Okay, it's good. Search is for functioning again. Lobby is about to fill up. I'm gonna go grab something quick to drink before we get to casting the first game on Arabia. So, 5 out of 6 players. It's good. Kruppe seems to be playing for Anvil now. He got that challenge icon as well. Use a new icon, so that's a nice one. What do you call? More than 1600 team games. Now only waiting for the last player. All the losers. Right. Nicoletta Fraula as the third player for Anvil for this one. We're looking at a 1200, 1300 average matchup here. Do we have it? We have Arabia ready. Let's go for it. Two-minute spec delay, but that leaves us some time to think about the civilizations of choice here. Applejack going to play the pocket position with the Huns now. So, no big surprise there. Paladin civilization in the pocket. Britain's on the flank. Incas on the other flank. So, that should be interesting to see. I would, I'm not too unhappy about Anvil civilization either. Playing the strong pockets here. Franks in the pocket. Mayans an obvious choice on flank as well. Cheaper archers line units. And Ethiopians on the other side. And with the faster firing rate. We'll just have to wait around and see how the map generation looks like when we get into it. We're getting there. In the meantime, I could make it a best of 5 Division 6 final. And we'll just have to wait until the team names pop up here to get that last bit sorted. Loading in. Just about to get there. Alright. Good luck, have fun. Anvil is stronger. I even have it in the team names. That's nice. Anvil versus Plebuchase. Best of 5. Here we go. It's probably fast forwarding because I was messing around with the scoreboard here. Someone reminded to set the mods after the hotfix. I thought I had done it, but it looks like there's been another. No matter, or is it here actually? Ah. Alright. We'll just have to endure the large trees for this phone. Or not. Good luck, have fun. They say, indeed. That's an early boar for Emoticon, isn't it? It's only at 6 villagers. So he's focusing heavy on food early here. Obviously wants to open the scouts with the Franks. Maybe it's no, he's in a pocket position, so he shouldn't be worried about the lane either. Anyway, we already introduced the villagers, but let's have a look again. Kruppe with the Mayans has the main gold in between 3 hills here. That could be a disaster. Excuse me. Could be really bad against an enemy ranged play. Eagle scouting the area here, going to find the last 2 sheep or goats well in time before Joey Perovida can get to scout it, I think. So, not loving the base here. It's somewhat wallable, I guess. You could wall the frontier and keep your berries safe, but they're still on a hill like this, so it's easy to pressure with the early aggression of scouts and archers combined. Not a big fan of that. The gold semi in the back, but that's the most open area as well, so that's going to be a little bit harder to secure. But at least has Mayans, cheaper walls, cheaper archers. Decent potential for withstanding the aggression after all. Himotikan in the pocket position also has the main gold next to a big hill here. It's less of an issue in the pocket position because there's usually going to be more time for the pocket to wall off and secure the resources before the aggression gets to them. Already walling the backside. Better safe than sorry for Himotikan. It's got the early advantage with the Frank Scouts because they get 20% more hit points from the get-go. But as the game progresses and Bloodlines is researched, it's a different matter. Then the civilizations with Bloodlines will be stronger. Wall between the woodlines here, get a nice fully covered base. Hasn't scouted the back woodline yet, but could also just wall this area and be fine. Still, not a fan of the forward wall, that's not ideal. Nicoletta Fraula with the Ethiopians here, going to have a somewhat safer goal, can't we say that? It's all on a hill, but is closer to the town center. You'll probably place your mining camp on the ground. And actually, if you are forced into a defensive tower here, it's not going to be that bad, because that tower could actually cover most of these 2 woodlands and the gold. If you say you place it here or something, then you have a wide range for that tower to cover. So, not hating this base as much, could get some very compact walls around as well, but as Arabia Generations should be, in my opinion, it's quite open. Very interesting spawn of Hunt over here. Stealthforest taking the... Okay, looked like he was going to push some of this Hunt. But this would be an Eldorado to mill, actually. There's lots of Hunt over here. So that's the Desert Generation over Arabia giving you some extra Hunt spawns. But this is ridiculous. That's both Orange and Teal's extra Hunt spawn right in the middle of each other. Yeah, but this base I like better than the other 2 Anvil players. Should be easier to secure, and we already have the houses starting to form a kind of a wall in towards the town center here. Feud Lages on the way, Plevishays opting for earlier uptimes here. We can see Stealth for us with the barracks already up with Incas. Did not go to gold yet. Did not click up yet. 22 population up here for the Incas, which is going to be the straight archers then, because it's still not on gold here, Stealth for us. Also got to make gold in the front, next to a hill, but not as bad as some of the Anvil players. But got the spare gold in the back as well, which is it's further away for Anvil to contest. So that's good news for Stealth for us over here. Feud Lages kicking in, yeah. So let's see Applejack's home base here. Main gold in the back. Woodlines over here as well. Stable going up now. Hunts also have 20% faster producing stables. So they'll have the first scout out well ahead of Emoticon's 20 population up in the Franks here. 2 pop faster for the Franks. Hunts, sorry, over the Franks. And the scout will probably complete in production before Emoticon can even complete his own stables. So that's no joke, those faster producing Hunt scout. That gives Applejack, although Applejack is going up at a more fragile economy with the lower population up, Applejack is going to have almost 2 scouts, or 3 if you count the starting one, compared to Emoticon with only 1 on the way now. That could be the difference here in evening out the numbers or hit points advantage that the Franks has. Finally here we have the gold, still close to a hill for Kruppe over here, but it's definitely safer. It's close to a woodline again, so again if you if you're forced into a defensive tower at some point and place it, for example, around here, you'd be able to secure both the woodline and the gold with one tower, which is essential. But ideally speaking, you don't want to get into any defensive towers at all in the feudal age, because you want those 200 stone to go into your additional town centers instead, and not have to mine stone to get to that. So, Applejack already with 6 scouts out. Hans, 18 pop-up, no 19 pop-up, that's no joke. On the aggressive side here, already forcing that defensive tower from Kruppe on this horrible hill around here. Also getting some free hits on the spearman over here. So that's one spearman almost for free for Applejack, who goes down. The scout goes down eventually. Maybe a little bit of an attention slip over here. Pulls the scouts back now. Maybe wants to group up with Stealth on the other side. No eco kills for now, but arguably obstructing the worker efficiency of the opposing team a little bit. After all, this guy has been hanging out here for a long time.
Ready.
I wonder if Joy Paravida is going to jump on the Jansen wall in this Eagle Scout. That would be funny. 3 tiles. And down he goes. He's going to die now to the Scouts. RIP! No hope for the birdie boy over there. Is this going to develop into a 1 vs 1 on Stealth Forest's side here? Maybe. Idle towns at the times, it's flawless for Applejack, and it's low for the other teammates as well. It means that Trebuchets are gaining an eco advantage, even without taking out a single villager. Also forcing a defensive tower, that is a positive for Trebuchets. A bit of a disfavorable fight here, equal numbers, and no fletching for either player, actually, since they've been opening double ranges. But Joey Piravida will want to be joined by his teammate scouts here. See, even with 1 more scout for the Huns, the HP hit point situation is quite close between these armies. What you could do to offset these numbers is to bring in Joey Puravida's starting scout as well, in with the pocket players. Scouts, and you get another scout on full HP to half HP. Might not make too much of a difference. So timing is on point here for Applejack. He's going to gang up with Joey Puravida here. 9 scouts total now. Might have intentionally ceased the production a bit now to be able to click to the cast age sooner. Both pockets seem equal in numbers, army numbers, or comparable in army numbers. Actually, 1 more for the Franks. So again, that's going to be an advantage for the Franks until Bloodlines can be researched for Applejack. But now comes the defense upgrade for Imotocom. In 10 seconds, always forced to take the fight a bit too early here. It's archers from the backside, Spearman joining in. Imagine if Imotocom had been able to hold that fight for 10 seconds longer. It would be a different story, it would trade even better against Applejack's numbers. But now they're both with only 3 scouts. They both need to replenish their numbers, I think. It would be a little bit too risky for Applejack to idle for the castle age here, I think, because the military numbers are so comparable as well. 17 archers to 12, so Kruppe is keeping up decently with the mines numbers production here. It's going to come down to army control and micromanagement. Let's see the south side here for a bit. Faster firing Ethiopian archers. Nico Fraula playing it on the defensive sides now. Outnumbers Stealth for us, at least in the numbers currently forward over here. Not much pocket numbers to be seen here. Applejack going up to the castle edge, still able to field some more scouts. That's good news from the Huns side. Farming situation, 22 farms. Seems sustainable enough. Some small walls here to keep any Emoticon raids away as well. But as far as the fights go, KD is very similar, except for maybe a few more pickups for Joey Pura Vida here. So that's been a close, it's been a tight feudal age between the two teams here. However, that castle age transition, that could be key. It's the faster working Hun stables as well. Second stable going up here, Bloodlines on the way in, which means that the Franks no longer have a hit points advantage over the Hun scouts. And with the castle age kicking in before, well, almost before Emoticon can even click, we are going to be looking at least 4 or 5 nights out for Applejack before Emoticon can start producing his. So Emoticon might need triple stables here with Franks to keep up his placing a second one. Might need a third one to match the numbers. Speaking of castle age progression, though, it's relatively close between Nicoletta Fraula and Stelfaros here. So they're going to get to the crossbow Bodkin upgrades at roughly the same time. Some skirmishes mixed in for Stelfaros, but nothing too game-changing about those numbers. Our archers not really doing anything, but they're shooting at archery range now at about half HP. But let's see if Applejack are joining in here. It's dropping it third stable. Only 10 on gold though, so it's going to be hard to sustain the faster working Huns stables with only 10 on gold. As we can see already, the gold is going to run low as the lights are queued up. In fact, it's not even queuing armies at this point. No additional town centers, no military production, only the one town center producing villagers. Which would explain the low idle DC time, so Applejack certainly has that idle town center or select all town centers hotkey imprinted in the muscle memory. Castle Age kicking in for the Ethiopians leads Stelfaros to pull back a little bit here, but Bodkin arrow coming in as well for the Incas. Doesn't look like crossbow is affordable immediately, but a little bit of trading going on there, and suddenly crossbow is on the way. Some good aggression from Joey Pura Vida over here. Kruppe is pulling away because Kruppe has 1 minute to go for the Castle Age yet. No +2 for Applejack. That's unfortunate, but if Applejack had 5 or 6 knights here, he could easily gang up on Gruppe's archers here and clean up some numbers. Still going to risk it though. He's going for Applejack has gone for numbers over upgrades here. That could backfire, but with crossbow kicking in so much earlier for Joey Pura Vida, this is really bad news for Gruppe over here. It's going to be hunted down by some knights as well. Applejack does not want to let go of these archer numbers. It's 15 and increasing again for Gruppe, but that's a huge loss to take entering into the Castle Age here. Huge losses taken now suddenly. And the Trebuchet is finding them in a comfortable position here now, picking up so many Mayans archers. Mayans, a bit of a help here in the fact that the crossbows cost 20% less. Is it only gold? 20% less gold and 20% less spirit. I think maybe it's a full-on discount. Yeah, 20% cheaper. Mangadal defense here from Nicoletta Fraola would really benefit from some pocket help now, Stelfaros, as they're pulling back towards the home base. Got 2 town centers working at home. We have Joy Pura Vida on the flank with 3 Britain's theses as well. They only cost half the stone. And surprisingly enough, Applejack decides to stay 1 town center for longer, as does Emoticon. So they want to play army numbers over economic numbers at this stage in the game. Joey Perovito with nearly twice the numbers. Applejack with 19 knights. I'm finally getting that +2 armor as well. Emoticon only has the +1. He's getting the infantry armor defense, so he must be thinking about some kind of pikeman addition here now. Might be a little stressed out here as well. He's sent lots of villagers to this area, maybe to drop a town center, but missing the wood. Definitely wants to try and secure that gold for long-term access. And yeah, another good fight for Trebuchets up here. Crossbows pulling back for Gruppe, but with this amount of knights and crossbows, it should be an easy break in here, and they could really set back the Mayans. They seem to want to focus on the pocket instead. Reading the map well, considering Emoticon's forward gold situation here, and he still hasn't put this back economy to work. 3 town centers for Applejack now, so the Trebuchet pocket is upping the eco game over the opponents. It's going to escalate this villager lead for the Trebuchets. And finally, Emoticon gets that mining camp up and pulls more villagers to the back as well, as the topside gold has been heavily exposed to aggression here. Knights tasked in to take out the production potential of the Franks here. There are three stables to produce from Emoticon, but look at the resources. He can't really keep up that for long. He has enough of food and gold to keep those 3 stables producing, but under this kind of pressure, it's going to be hard to keep up. Full on pressure on the pocket now. They really want Franks out of the game, and taking out that mobility might just be key to keep Anvil out of the game here. 1 stable gone down as well, so that's 1 less stable to produce from. However, Trebuchets need to not over-focus on one player here. They need to deal some damage to the Mayans and the Ethiopians potentially as well. Nicoletta Fraura has been very defensive on this side here, which makes sense. It's been a 1v1 situation. If you can hold your sides, that should allow your teammates to push the other side. But now, with 21 knights and counting for Applejack, it's becoming increasingly harder for Anvil to get back into the game here, as they'll consistently be forced to take the worst fights here, or the worst fights that they would have wanted to take. Pikeman addition from the Ethiopians, I don't mind that. It's an instant upgrade for the Ethiopians. And if you have the food and wood to spare, why not? It's a good addition, but there are also lots of crossbows here to take out those infantry units, which makes it more awkward. Surround with the knights here. No, they're running right through the crossbows. The crossbows escaping for a bit longer. Still, good fight for Joey Perovida and Applejack. Applejack splitting up the knights' numbers here. So it's going to cover Joey Perovida over here, and then while chasing the crossbow group on the other side. Gruppe managing to conserve some of the numbers here. Now getting ballistics for the crossbows as well, but he finds himself outnumbered by twice the mass from Joey Perovida here, who has been, yeah, it's got about 1/3 better KD compared to the opponent here. Good position for Trebuchets now, as Applejack is finding himself in with an opportunity to raid again. He's going for the production. He wants to force Emoticon to place new stables here, and the wood situation isn't ideal for Emoticon just now, dropping the market. Losing all potential to pump out knights. He's only with 5 knights total, and he's queuing out of the last remaining stable here, but that's about to go down there. He's pulling back his own knights, but he has no support for these knights here. He's just going to lose them to Applejack, unfortunately, as this pressure keeps up. And with no cavalry support from Anvil's pocket, Joey Perovida is free to raid on the opposing side, forcing a defensive castle from Gruppe now in a questionable position. It sort of covers the entrance here, but I don't really see how this is going to do it. At least on the hill would be more beneficial, I think, but I guess the crossbows would be able to deny that. I find it a bit questionable that Joey Perovida keeps firing away at the house, as the house has lost a lot more defense than the palisade gate. This is a weak spot that could have been broken long ago. Yeah, Joey Perovida keeps looking for openings, but now it's too late. He's going to run into castle fire now. He does not know that that castle is going up over here. Being joined by Applejack once again. Applejack is going to spot the castle foundation. He'll probably shout to his teammate that, oh, get away from there, don't lose units needlessly to the castle. Speaking of castles, we have a castle on the right-hand side from Stelfaris as well, who recently made it into the Imperial Age. 73 crossbowmen, and to be upgraded into arbalists with Bracer soon enough. Bracer comes in first. Definitely the most important upgrade to get here, which will grant more range and damage. Ethiopia's also on the way to the Imperial Age, matching in the progress here, but not in the numbers. 3 defensive Mangadas, that's not going to do anything for the Ethiopians at this point, because crossbows with Bracer simply outrange them. Okay, good fight for Kuppe over here now. Still only at about half the number of Joy Puravida's crossbows, who, by the way, is heading into the Imperial Age as well. All of Trebuchets are. Don't forget to the mighty Britain's Arbalist as well. You can see the Castle Age range of the Britons is already 5+3. It's going to be 5+4, reaching the Imperial Age, and once you get Bracer, it's going to be 5+5. Quite the annoying unit to play against, and Emoticon is losing lots of units to raids now. He's lost so many villagers here. It's down to 50 of them. He's trying to scramble to the sides to conserve some economy here, but there's castles going up left and right here for Trebuchets. Surprisingly enough, still no Arbalest for the Incas here. It is a costly upgrade, seems to have been subject to some kind of raids at home base here, or maybe that was just auto scout as well. But yeah, gold situation a little bit off for Stealth for us here. Has the market, could trade some resources, sell some wood for gold for the Arbalest upgrade, and here it comes, yeah. There's the Imperial Age for Applejack as well. That's going to be disaster for Anvin's side with the progression currently. Emoticon, barely any food in the bank, still queuing builders out of at least 1 town center, but is not anywhere near an Imperial Age cake here, which means that Applejack will have Cavalier, maybe even Paladin well ahead of Emoticon's transition towards the next stage here. Britain's crossbows would hold their own there. Bracer Arbalest coming in. And an absolute ton of Arbalests on the Incas side here as well. Dropping down the Palisade Gate is wide open now. There is 2,000 turns at home base here for the Cadetta Fraula. Again, castles that don't make the most sense here is protecting a woodline and some farm eco, but that's about it. Protecting the stone as well. Maybe you'll need to smack up another castle over here or something. But how do you defend against it? Defend against this with 47 Arbs as the Ethiopians here? Where are the Arbs? Where are them? They were about to move out and try to help on the side being under siege by the Britons, but yeah, Nicoletta Fraula is going to have enough of an issue holding his own here now. Holding their own over here now as Cavalier and Arb Mass is just absolutely dominating here. Look at this hit points disadvantage that Nicoletta Fraula is at now. There's only one Trebuchet, surprisingly enough, so it's going to take a little while to take out that castle yet. Arbalest staying in the choke point here for the Ethiopians. Good trades, I would say, given the numbers disadvantage, as the Cavaliers can't comfortably engage. We have Halberdier for the Ethiopians as well, missing quite a few defense upgrades, but certainly helpful against the Cavalier as well. But the main issue here is that we still only have Castle Age for Emoticon in the pocket. It doesn't really have the army mass either. And Kruppe, only partly on the way to the Imperial Age there as well, will not be able to fight off these Arbalests. Eco situation so far ahead from the Trebuchets now. They have twice the military, they have nearly twice the economy at this point as well, so they're showing a pretty dominant game on here in this best of 5. Frank's Paladins are in as well, and look at the production. 5 stables producing the Paladins. No Frank's Castles yet, surprisingly enough, to use them to cover up the middle if need be. Applejack just casually sends for a forward town center instead. He's enjoying life now, right now, with Paladin raids and accompanied by lots of Incas Arbalists over here. Looks like chemistry is in for these Arbalists as well. Not entirely sure about the Ethiopian side, because Nicoletta under these raids must have been struggling quite a bit for resources for the final upgrades. Townsend are going down, 2 trebuchets now pushing, they're going to contest the production capabilities as well, I guess. The castle could probably range this, archery range, and then the second one could go down as well. Let's have a look at the left hand side. Britain's castle forward here now. I'm not sure if Warwolf is in or not, but the crossbows of Gruppe are doing their best to try and at least deny this forward castle. Easier said than done, but good focus firing here, almost manages it, but 3, 4, yeah, 7 villagers still alive to complete that castle for the Britons playing Joey Pura Vida. Wild space definitely not looking great here, and the GG is called. First game goes to Trebuchets. Well fought by Anvil, but not enough to keep them away. Seem to be outmatched by the better team at Arabia here. Pretty dominates KD for Trebuchets here in the end. Much earlier to Imperial Age and Cavalier Paladin, always an advantage, and not to mention the Imperial Age situation as well. Just comfortably earlier all the way here throughout the game. It's the up timings on these open maps. The scouts into knights and archers into crossbows, into arms, arbalest. That makes such a difference. I'm not sure if Trebuchets even lost a single villager this game. I lost a few forward here to the castle drops perhaps, but yeah, that's when Joy Puravida dropped that second castle in the end. 10 villagers lost there, and that's about it. They didn't really have to worry about raids at home base all that much. Jack even deleted some of his own villagers to make room for more army. So there's that as well. I'm gonna set my mods to small trees and we'll hop into the next one shortly. That's not where I want to go. This is where I want to go. See if that helps. Let's see if that probably same lobby name, right? Yep. T-Violence coming up next. Does my name show up here? Anyway, we can go to the overview here as well. We can show that the Britons indeed dominated here. Hans, Pocket, and guess where are you? For Trebuchets, taking out the Franks, Mayans, and Ethiopians. First 3 picks for Ambil here, picking the first sips first for Arabia. But now we're into Team Islands. I would guess Byzantines, Saracens, Sicilians here, I think, for Team Islands. Some kind of landing play. Could be a lot of other options as well, but these are the strongest Team Island civilizations in their draft, I would say. Dravidians, that's a given for... it could be for Nomad as well, but I think it makes sense for Team Islands. Vikings, another good one. And Gaulis for a bit of a pocket boom, perhaps. It didn't launch just yet. Well. Still no launch. Must be some hefty civilizations, the discussions going on between the players now. Who's gonna play? Who's gonna do this? Who's gonna do that? Because they haven't lost it. Maybe the Arabia game was so exhausting they had to. It was so exhausting they had to wait. Okay, Team Islands incoming. Let's see what kind of civilizations they bring us for this one. It's a 2-minute spec delay, as they don't want any stream sniping. Hindustanis! That is not a civilization I expected for Team Islands, and it is the freaking last pick of Trebuchets. Maybe they just don't enjoy Team Islands and they want to use their leftover civilization. But anyway, Hindustanis. I've seen them so rarely on these naval maps that I don't even know what they have going for them on something like Team Islands. But sure, good pocket, cheap villagers. Caravanserai for the late game trades. That could be why. Boosting the trade card's speed. Daniel White gonna go with the Bengalis. Going to do some naval fighting there. Probably Joy Puravida with the Italians as well. Indicating that Applejack might be the annoying landing player here if they are going to do an early landing at all. Scouts and stuff to land it, perhaps. While the other two will fight for the water. Koreans, I kind of suspected that it could be a nomad civilization, but they've certainly got things going for them on Team Islands as well. So they're up there with the naval civilizations. What sets them back a bit is that they don't have any Dark Age eco bonus, which could be said about most of these civilizations. However, Byzantines cheaper Imperial Age, Hindustanis cheaper villagers, Italians cheaper uptimes. Things that could come in handy for these island stars. Faster firing fire galleys for the Byzantines. Sicilians, that's almost guaranteed going to be a landing play by Imbotekam. And Koreans will do the naval fighting then. We are live. Let's open Capture H here and see what comes up next. Looks like I have to restart the game for the mods to work, so we have big trees for this one as well. Apologies for the largeness of the trees, but thankfully on Team Islands it doesn't matter that much. Just gonna make sure we're live here. And then find things to talk about for the relatively slow build-up that is the early game on Team Islands. We have Emoticon in the pocket. Wonder if, yeah, it has to be a back dock for him, I think, even with the landing. Because it's quite a far distance to go to the frontier to place a dock for the Sicilians. It's going to be a significantly longer travel if you back dock here with the Sicilians, but that's also going to keep your fish safe for longer, which could be an advantage if you're going for the landing play. Sicilians, First Crusade, cavalry, only cavalier in the Imperial Age, but got Hauberg as a unique technology that boosts their stats quite a bit. Sergeants, donjons, good for landing plays on Nomad. Also, team bonus, the transport ships are half price and have +5 line of sight, which is obviously very convenient for a landing play for all players of the team. Right side, John here with the Byzantines. Bit of a far out deer lure here, probably would need to force drop a little bit more consistently than he otherwise would have wanted to. That's gonna be fine. Yeah, don't force drop there to keep the villager production going. Going to dock over here, I guess, and have a close fight with Joy Puravida on the other side. It's going to be an interesting one because Italians have bonuses for water as well. They want to keep their fish alive all the game, of course, because their fishing ships are cheaper. It's easier to get the numbers out while maintaining naval military production as well. And you would suspect that the Italians are up before the Byzantines here to the feudal age, because the Italians have a 15% discount on the age app click. So Byzantines versus Italian on this side. Koreans for Krupp on the left hand side could of course land and play some tower shenanigans for map control on the opposing player's team, but I think this is going to be a naval approach from the Koreans as well, that they will fight for naval domination on both sides, as we have Bengalis on the left side for Dynamite. Ships that actually heal a set amount of hit points. So if you pull them away from fights, they will become stronger without you needing to spend resources to repair. Very strong naval bonus for the Bengalis. They're up there among the best ones. They're being picked frequently for ups that involve quite a bit of naval action. Then the Hindustanis pocket, one which I don't quite understand, but then I realized the late game Caravanserai could come in handy if it goes to a very long and late normal game. It makes it harder to raid the trade cards because they move faster. And of course, since they move faster, they also will increase that gold yield quite a bit. So they're flaring their docks positions. Now it is indeed a forward dock for Emoticon. That's further increasing the theory that he's going to pull off a landing play here. Probably going to go up at like 20, low 20s population here. Send 2 villagers and a scout forward, maybe in 3, and drop the stable and start being annoying with the Sicilians. Back dock for Applejack. Suggests that Applejack has seen through the Sicilians' landing idea and will probably place a defensive barracks at the home island and defend on land instead. And not go aggressive, just leave that to the teammates to fight for naval control instead. The up click is there for Koreans first here. Got 4 fish out, like would be the case for most of the players. 3 or 4 fish for the most of them. Hindustanis, a few more. Really economic approach with the shore fishing villager here for Applejack as well. With using him to build the houses on the sides. That does decrease a little bit of the shore fishing income, I guess, but still going to be keeping him from being all out. Oh, look at this. Look at the scout. No! Dynamite had the golden opportunity to spot the landing here. Everyone going towards feudal age here. Plebiches, admittedly, once again ahead in the timings. Oh, they're trying only scouts. Okay, so sending all 3 starting scouts. That's the thing you can do on Team Islands these days. Because of the shared cartography, that's been a thing for about a year now. So you could kind of keep your scouts together and use them basically like a very, very early feudal age scout rush before the opponent can has researched loom. Actually, Applejack has loom research. Maybe it was an effort to... Maybe it's just expected landing, or maybe it's just a means to avoid getting housed. It's a pity that they didn't coordinate their scouts here, though, because if all the 3 scouts had been working together, we could probably be looking at some proper damage on Trebuchet's side here. No villagers lost. Did lose the starting scout of Applejack though, so that's something. He gets to complete the stable. He has the barracks up as well. Of course, is making spearmen to survive the starting scout's aggression here. Surprisingly enough, this is kind of like more like a fake landing play from Imodgan here, who now has 2 dogs producing. He's going to make the fire galleys and join his teammates on either side to really ensure naval domination here. So Trebuchet is now investing quite a bit on land. Wait, he's queued 2 spears. Yeah, he's queuing another one. So it's they think this is a scout rush happening here, right? But there's nothing. Or is it? No. Nothing's to stop Imodgan from making a landing again, of course, but it looks like he wants to send some builders over to make a dungeon rush, but they made the opponents think that this is scouts rush incoming, and there isn't any forward presence for Anvil just yet in terms of villagers and production buildings. More docks coming up for the Italians. A 4th dock already, in fact. So John is going for proper naval numbers here to contest Trebuchet's situation on the right-hand side here. 3rd dock just now for Joey Pura Vida. So Joey Pura Vida should be outnumbered soon enough, assuming John has enough builders on gold to sustain the production here. It's a bit short of gold. I think he's going to struggle for gold soon. 6 on gold for 4 docks. That's hardly going to get you anywhere. And he's going to need some ranged help here as well, I think, since he's going for the fire galleys. It's not the worst call because they're quite close to each other. And if you can force the galleys up into a corner, your fire galleys are going to get value. He's actually spreading them out here, kind of, to try and get a surround on these fire galleys over here, but Joy Pura Vida just hits and runs, has fletching in, of course, which increases the range damage, and yeah, that forces John into the range switch. Let's see the left-hand side with the Orients here as well. Daniel White, I would say, is not taking the best fights here. They're fighting in equal mass, but Gruppe is getting better trades for now, pulling the weakest ones in the back as well, so they're harder to focus fire and hit. Galleys in front, acting like a meat shield, so to speak, in front of the galleys in the back. No, yeah, fletching just about to come in here. That's obviously been in for Joey Pura Vida for quite a while. Speaking of fletching, Danielite is actually missing fletching, so that's huge on the left-hand side. The Koreans have it, Danielite does not, so he's going to... that's another reason that fights aren't really going the blue player's way over here. Dropping more docks, 5 docks now. How are you going to produce out of all these docks? He actually is able to produce out of all of them, but with only 6 on gold, that's not going to be an option for very long. Also, maybe a bit unfortunate not to garrison the galleys inside. As a great early aggression for Anvil here, taking out the fish, as we can see as well. That's 5 equal losses for Anvil. Donjon Rush in effect. But Applejack seems on point here with the scouts and spears defense. Some spears from Imodgan as well could be made from the dungeons. Another strong point of the Sicilians' changes recently. Denying one woodland here. But also good job on Applejack from denying the second dungeon from going up here. I like how the flanks are being kept busy by with the naval engagements here from Anvil, while Imodgan is pressuring the pocket on land. It means that all of Trebuchet's players should be on the back foot here. Applejack is actually making men-at-arms now to deal with any potential sergeants to be produced from Imodgan's donjons. I don't think he has the eco setup for it necessarily. He's pretty heavy on the gold. While John has managed to keep the fish alive and away from opposing aggression here. It's 4 docks for both the Italians and the Byzantines now. Faster firing fire galleys, showing the power here, but now John is one outnumbered over here, still getting some pickoffs on these galleys. Look at the situation. 5 builders ahead for Anvil here. That's basically the 5 fish that they've taken out on the water. And Trebuchets now trying to catch up in military numbers, and they're doing decently at it. Daniel White with 5 docks producing, but look at Fletching, still not in for Daniel White over here. I don't think he has the blacksmithing, but he must think that he's clicked Fletching at some point, and then it just didn't register, because now it's still not in, and the blacksmith has been there for a little while by now. Maybe he's just struggling for food for Fletching. No, it's not. He's actually aiming for the castle age here, which seems incredibly risky, being down almost 3-1 in military numbers here now. Let's have a look at the Donjon situation. Yeah, denying the gold of Applejack. So Applejack needs to pull over to somewhere else now. He's well on the way to the castle age, bringing in some food eco from the uninterrupted fish situation over here. But enters the castle age without gold, potentially. And that's never a good situation to be in from the pocket position, or any position for that matter. Looks like Joey Puravida is able to claim back some of the waters here. Trebuchets, all of them on the way to the castle age. So behind this amazing pressure from Anvil early on, they're still able to get to the castle age earlier. And some potential stronger... Not potential, some definitely stronger units here. We're going to get to War Galley and Bodkin Arrow earlier for Joey Puravida over here. Daniel White prioritizing castle age over Fletching and everything here. Does he want to try and pull off a landing or something with the Bengalis? I don't see where that's going to lead you. So the left hand side definitely dominated by Kruppe at this point. Add some fire galleys as well. Maybe that's just a more efficient way of taking out any stray galleys and the docks over here. But that castle age is going to be a game changer for Daniel White. Castle age, speaking of, it's in for Applejack as well now, forcing a defensive castle that will be able to take out this donjon and sort of free up this gold again. Still needs to deal with this one, so it could be that Applejack will need to commit to a siege workshop here. Alternatively, Applejack could take out this with castle fire and use villagers to batter down the other dungeons, but they're within range of each other, so it's easier said than done as well. Longswords, quite a few of them from Applejack here. The economically sustainable for sure, because they don't cost that much food and gold. Castle to take out this one, Longsword to take out this one. Presumably only one defense in, but now the landing villagers will go down, and that's going to be bad news for Emoticon, who is committed to an extended feudal age here, just halfway to the castle age with the Sicilians. His advantage is that he has been mining stone, so he shouldn't have any issues placing any town centers at home island if need be. Or if he's able to conserve the villagers, could also drop a castle with the remaining villagers. Could be Sicilians, they build the castle so ridiculously fast you could still get the castle up on the hill here, even with only 2 villagers. I don't think he'll commit to that, but it's an option. We'll see what the castle age brings for Emoticon. Yes, still got 30 seconds to go. Lots of fire ships and war galleys here for Daniel White, but Daniel White still missing all of the blacksmith upgrades for the war galleys. Not a lot of them here, it's mainly fire ships. So he's going to run into a sizable chunk of war galleys from Kruppe, who's managed to take out the fish in the back of Applejack, who wants to try and get back on water and help his teammates recover here. Speaking of recovery, Joey Puravida is pushing nicely on the right hand side. Trebuchet have survived the storm. Kept up with the pressure. Ooh, ambitious castle here, and the villagers arguably on the wrong side as well. Will Applejack delete this barracks to get through? He doesn't need to. He's focusing the villagers, obviously. There are only 2 villagers. There are 6 villagers here, actually. So Emoticon managed to bring more villagers over. Sicilians build castles with 50% faster or whatever. It's Still, fast enough that this castle will complete and once again deny that 1 gold of Applejack. But that means a lot of stone has been mined that could be used for other sustainable resource income. But resource income, Emoticon has some fishing ships still working. Has the second thousand at home as well. Maybe it's not that far off, economically speaking, against Applejack. I would say though, with 6 villagers forward at least, Emoticon has 20 villagers disadvantage compared to the other pocket. White fighting back here as well is putting pressure on the Koreans now, whose war galleys have been so far away. Maybe to focus the docks here if you're Kruppe, because there aren't really any armies here of White to contest that. We'll need to garrison the numbers. White's still missing even fletching for these war galleys. These war galleys are useless compared to the Korean ones at this point, because they just don't have any upgrades. Which is very unfortunate. Joey Pura Vida with the Byzantines has a cheaper Imperial Age. Still lacking quite a bit of food with that in mind, but did manage to save some of the fish as well. Could even consider adding a few more from the docks now that Trebuchets have had decent control of the right-hand side of the map for a while. Castle Age in 4. John is got 18 galleys to become war galleys or fire ships. Sorry, 18 fire galleys to become fire ships. Even getting careening, extra pierce armor for the galleys over here, while Kruppe is going for the ballistics research. And where is he actually queuing? Doesn't have any docks to queue or galleys. It's a huge setback for the Koreans here. White lacking the upgrades, yes, but most definitely has the numbers. Might still be able to get out of this alive, but his fighting is at such a strange disadvantage, lacking both fletching and Bodkin arrow. Still managed to win it somehow. And let's see, now moving up to the top side here, heading towards the back. Applejack with cavalry archers now against the sergeants. It kind of makes sense because Hindustanis have fully upgraded ones. Let's use the mobility to chase down sergeants and stop any more castles and dungeons from happening. Economically, Anvil are keeping up. They have extended into more TCs at home base, which will allow them to create more villagers and sustain more military for the late game. This is by no means decided, but Trebuchets with a very convincing military lead at this point. Imperial Age for Applejack, that's probably to get Trebuchets out to deal with the Sicilians' landing presence. Weakly here, but Emoticon also in the Imperial Age and has the hill advantage for the Trebuchet here, so there's going to be a Trebuchet war on Applejack's side. I think they should both be able to queue them. No, Applejack is actually housed, so he's struggling a little bit to match the Trebuchet production of Emoticon now. Almost enough stone for another castle. That's an obvious advantage for Applejack. If he can get another castle down, he'll produce Trebuchets twice as efficiently, and it should be increasingly easier to deal with the Sicilians as well. Emoticon or town centers now on the enemy island. If he builds 5 town centers on this island and deletes the ones on his home island, if even temporarily, that's going to give all of the sergeants First Crusade spawns on this side. But at this point, it's mainly an annoyance. Well protected economy here on the woodlands, stealing wood off Trebuchets here on this side. Let's have a look at the fight on the right hand side again. Joey Puravida has been caught up with by the Byzantines' faster firing fire ships here. So John is here to reclaim the naval control for Anvil yet again. Trebuchet is just a marginal 20 military ahead, and most of that advantage is on the land. Here comes chemistry for the cavalry archers, and potential extra range hand cannoneers for the Hindustanis for the late game. Will Applejack be able to hold it? He's going to commit the stone to repairs now, so we're not going to get an additional castle here. He's fighting uphill against at least 2 trebuchets here now. I wonder if there's a scenario here where it could have made more sense to go into armored and siege elephants. But I guess not with all of the sergeants to defend here. Left hand side, Gruppe gets the docks denied again, so good aggression by Dynamite again. Still missing Fletching, Bodkin Arrow, and eventually Bracer here, so that's just not good news at all for the mass of war galleys currently on the field. Also lacking careening, which is not that important for the ranged ships, but still going to be handy in fighting equal numbers. Good use of the leftover fire galleys from the Bengalis here as well, taking out quite a few of John's reinforcements on this side. Bomber cannons added now, yeah, good call by Applejack, knowing that the castle was basically doomed, getting into some bomber cannons here to try and deal with the trebuchets with the mobility of the siege weapons that is. Bombard cannons, sergeants chasing them. Will the cavalry archers and hand cannoneers combined be able to deal with those? So bomber cannon goes down. That's lots of wood and gold down the drain for Applejack, but has more in the queue. Just needs to deal with the trebuchets. Has a very comfortable economic lead over Immotikal after all. So it's all about just dealing with the landing pressure here to stay in the game for trebuchets here. They are actually at an equal disadvantage currently, as Anvil have kept a strong pressure up on the enemy island and on the flanks. But military-wise, trebuchets, as a result, are ahead, having focused less on economy and more on military. They will need some cannon galleys here, because the Koreans' towers, guard towers, serve as very efficient protection against any attempt to take out the docks this side, especially when you're lacking core upgrades. But like I see, Fletching is in. Galleon is coming in. Daniel White now in a good spot on this side for trebuchets. Like Joey Puravida wants to make an attempt to get back on water from this angle as well. He's dropping a castle on the shoreline. If that castle goes up, you could drop a number of docks under castle fire protection and double up on the production for the Italians here to get those naval numbers back online. Got some docks in the back as well, so definitely got some reinforcements going on here, but he wants to have them closer to John's side to have a easier way of getting reinforcements down. Not to mention that this castle will protect the shoreline and the gold income over here, unless Immotikal has a say in it, of course. We do have some war galleys over here. If these guys get spotted, even the fire galleys could actually cause some annoyance here. Are they on patrol? They are gonna go for the villagers. Good spot by Immotikal, or maybe they were just patrolling in, but they're still at the very least delaying this castle. And looks like John will pull some war galleys over, maybe. Huge idle armies from Daniel right now, maybe waiting for some important upgrades. Careening coming in, going to increase that Pierce armor. The cannon galleon coming in, that's to deal with the keeps on this side and to once again take out Gruppe's naval production here. Still, I am in the belief that military wins battles, and trebuchets, they have 50 more military than Anvil at this point. We have Gruppe with the Koreans approaching Imperial Age as well. That means that the guard towers will become keeps, but with cannon galleons out on the waters from Daniel White, those keeps won't last too long anyway. Could be and we don't really have any castle defenses on home island for Anvil. That could hurt a lot against this mass of galleons from Daniel right here. Now only missing Bracer for the galleons here. Turtle ships are out, but only 3 of them. That shouldn't really last very long. John pushing with a convincing mass of Byzantine's armies here as well. Probably has fast fire ship in. Hasn't got the castle yet, so doesn't have the unique technology, but that's not the same unique technology for the Byzantines anymore. So, but yeah, no unique technology for the Byzantines for the time being. Stables popping up now for Imicon, wants to play the mobility and raid more consistently on Trebuchet's side. It's being spotted by Applejack. He's seen some stables going up, could pick off some villagers again. But yeah, this landing annoyance needs to be addressed. Maybe it's enough for Applejack just to keep it away, because his teammates are doing great work in the naval department. Joey Puravida with the galleons closing in on fully upgraded. Still missing Bracer here, but focusing down the fire galleys, fast fire ships. And we'll be looking at a slight numbers advantage against the Byzantine galleons here. However, they're both missing Bracer. So now that Joey Puravida gets Bracer in well ahead of John, he should be looking at a massive advantage in this otherwise equal fight here. He's even sending in 1 galleon in front to distract some fire of John's numbers. John producing out of 11 docks now, so he's outproducing Joey Puravida, but it's also struggling to keep up with the upgrades here. Yeah, just more range and attack for Joey Puravida's number. That's obviously going to change once John goes into that very crucial Imperial Age upgrade for ranged units. Looks like the raids are having some success for Emoticon here. Score is always deceiving, so let's not read too much into that. Defensive castle forced on Daniomite here. Woodline gets exposed. Wood, obviously, one of the most precious resources on naval maps like this. And the fact that Anvil have been stealing some of it and pressuring Trebuchets off it means that it's going to be harder for Trebuchets to get production going on water as well. Once again chasing here. Joey Puravida now struggling to keep production going here. Is he low on resources? He is, but Daniomite is floating so much here now. Daniomite could sling either of his teammates here, and that could make that such a huge of a difference here. He should definitely sling Joey Puravida something here, so Joey could keep up naval military production here. Slinging allowed in Imperial Age. No restrictions against that at that point in the game. Oh, no naval production at all for Kruppe here now. He's lost all of the forward docks. He's about to get a castle in the face from Daniomite over here, but Daniomite is fighting against 2 castles here, and I think these are just outside of the range of the elite cannon galleons. So we'll need trebuchets here for Daniomite to contest. However, keeping the trebuchets close to this castle means that the castle will provide cover fire, and naval units could also provide more cover fire from Daniomite here. Bracer is in. It's still not in for John, so that's again really bad news for John in the fight in the middle here. Daniomite desperately needs some demos here. Maybe some of the teammates could assist in that, but he's also microing like crazy here. He's not allowing those fast fire ships to get any particular value against the galleons over here. Once again, having a look at the upgrades, seemingly comparable numbers. John is taking huge losses here from the lack of Bracer. Maybe he thinks he's clicked it. But taking significant losses here. Let's have a look at the resources. John isn't going to struggle for resources anytime soon. He did extend the land resource situation quite a while ago. The resource situation seems healthier for Anvil here. They're floating a lot. But they're also, yeah, they've still got quite a while to go before being completely pop-capped over here. So with the dogs in the back now, still has resources in the bag. Lots of gold here, which could be shared with John. John only 4 gold miners now. Maybe it's time to start thinking about extending that trade for John. They do have trade running now, just barely, but trade is trade. One team has started trade, the other hasn't. Emoticon still got some of that landing presence, but Applejack is about to clean that up. So Trebuchets, they are stabilizing on land. They can focus completely on the naval game now. Once they clean up the last bit of stables from the yellow player. With careening in, you could also easily transport some of the hand cannoneers over. No unique technology for the hand cannoneers just yet, so no extra range of those, but bomber cannons with siege engineers by the looks of it, and easily going to deal with the remaining land presence of Emoticon now. Have Anvil bought enough time to get their trade going and close out this game, though? The only player probably struggling for resources for Trebuchets is Joey Pura Vida, and so he's struggling a little bit to keep up with the production here. But again, Sling could solve that. Then you might so much resources in the bank. Maybe it would help Trebuchets. Dominate water if they communicated the resource situation better here. I think the gold has been spent mostly for these tiles. Yeah, those old tiles over there. It is twice the military for Trebuchets, but they're also, in comparison, they're with 100 less eco units. That's not to be underestimated. John, quite simply, can afford to lose a lot more units here than Joy Pura Vida, who's definitely falling behind now. Overall, it's got some galleons production going on probably in the back again here. As has Applejack. Applejack having won back the mainland basically, now placing a defensive castle. Haven't really seen a lot of siege ships from Anvil, so defensive castle is definitely going to work out here. Did he actually? Oh, he lost the stone for that castle. Then you might. Huge pick off from John over here. So landing not working as intended for Danielmite. Anvil now in the driver's seat here. They have a better score. It could be because of the resources they're floating as well as Danielmite is focusing down Arbalists with cannon galleons here. Elite cannon galleons. Fascinating use of those. Fast fire ships chasing yet again. John still lacking Bracer, but is mainly been producing fast fire ships, so that could be why John didn't go for Bracer at all, but he still has some galleons, right? He's got 23 galleons, they would definitely benefit from that Bracer upgrade. Let's see, let's try to count the naval strength here. Some elite turtle ship has been researched here, in fact. There's 40 fast fire ships and 19 galleons drawn. Emoticon doubling up on the galleon numbers as well. Now playing naval for the Sicilians. That could be a game changer for the water control. Fast fire ship now coming in for the Bengalis as well. Let's go back to the trade stats, see if, yeah, Laguches are catching up. It's going to take a little bit of time for that trade to kick in. But now, some galleons for Sicilians on this side. So if Emoticon does not send the armies on this side, but sends them on this side as well, you could have a fantastic surround against the Danielbites masses here together with John. I think that would be the way to play it here, just to spawn all the ships in this direction and get John's and Emoticon's numbers collected against the Bengalis galleons here, which there are lots of them at this point. Some cover fire from the castle, of course, and no particular amount of siege weapons from Anvil here to contest these defenses. Forward castle on land for Applejack is about to get the stables up as well and start getting some raids in on Anvil's side. That could be very nasty for Anvil's resource income. They still have resources in the bank, but gold is running low, except for Gruppe. So if they get that trade contested, that could really cause trouble for the army production of Anvil. Population looking healthy though. Trebuchet catching up kind of in the economy, but now they're behind the military. Relatively even fight over here, but on the left hand side we had a landing for Kruppe as well on the Bengalis home area. Ulam's diving in, they should be able to deal with the Arbalist here without big issues. Trebuchets coming from at least one castle from Daniel White here. Is it resource issues? No. Could definitely queue Trebuchet from the other castle as well and make quick work of this forward castle of Kruppe. Ulam's doing ridiculous work here against the Arbalist as well. Elite Gulam just slaying those villagers. Could even deny this castle from going up. That's close, but it doesn't quite happen. Some of the villagers will go down for Kruppe though. Emoticon diving in with some army to help against these numbers. It's an annoyance, but it's not going to be too much happening from this side for Kruppe. Bomber cannons, stray bomber cannons from Applejack here to deal with as well. Camels now for the Hindustanis. Heavy camels against Sicilians that will take 33% less bonus damage from the heavy camels. Is it enough? I think still if you get the Imperial camels, the Sicilians cavalry are still in trouble. Yeah, they're struggling. Even with full upgrades, the heavy camels are trading quite well here. Even though they lack some of the defense upgrades. Applejack, a little bit low on food and gold though, struggles to keep up here. Maybe Daniel White should share some food and Applejack could pump out some light cab here from these stables just to have some kind of army production to annoy with as the game goes on. So panic barracks here from Imotron to try and keep those camels raids away. I would assume though that not even pikeman has been researched yet, so that's going to take a little while. Daniel White manages to take out the forward castle of Kruppe, so no Korean's presence to be particularly annoying here. Trade is still running. Demos looking for some juicy hits here. Actually decided to take out one dock. Is that a house? Or? Doesn't look like a great fight for Joey Puravida here. Mixing in some demos. No heavy demo here. Heavy demolition ship is a lot more efficient against the fast fire ship, but they're doing some decent work still. John manages to pick up on some of that. Oh, and the demo is misplaced, not able to get full value there. And once again, our gray friend Joey Puravida is struggling with production, lacking gold there. They're all lacking gold. Trebuchets are out of gold. They are officially out of gold. Applejack has 37 trade units running, but has had that a little bit compromised by the opposing raids as well. Not loving the eco situation of Applejack here particularly. He's got some production going. Maybe he's going to just trade gold and tribute gold to his teammates here. But look at the gold situation. Emoticon is struggling as well, but Trebuchets are struggling the most here. They're so low on gold, and it shows in their production situation. 34 military only against Anvil's 140, 150 now, showing why they pick Team Islands as their home map here. All the castle has been dealt with, so Applejack now with no presence, well, almost no presence on Anvil's side. It looks like Anvil once again has weathered the storm. They're about to take out precious production capabilities of Trebuchets. Will Trebuchets recover here? They still have some trade income perhaps. Let's go back to the gold situation. Applejack bringing in gold, the others not so much. That's going to be an issue. It's going to be a huge issue. Relatively uninterrupted trade from Anvil's side here as well. They still have less trade going on. No, Kruppe is actually bringing in a lot here. Looks like he wants to scramble up a defensive castle or maybe just more towers here on the shoreline as well. Yeah, that'll be some more keeps. Securing the last remaining wood. Let's look at the wood situation here. Don't think this is going to evolve into a game where the amount of wood left is what matters. But it certainly is looking good for Anvil, even though they seemingly have fewer eco units. Also only 40 gold here, so that's a short trade route. That's a mistake from Trebuchets, or maybe an intentional move to secure the trade while trying to recover the position over here. Watchtowers, that's just not going to do anything for you at this point. But they just got guard tower for the upgrade. Look at this mass of ants trying to get things to happen here, bro. John is landed with the forward offensive thousand from this woodline. He's douching the woodline for Applejack. Looks like Anvil are enjoying themselves now. To deny what they can of wood of Trebuchets here. Let's have a look at the resource situation again here. It's stabilized for Applejack for sure, but there's not really any option of raiding the economy of Anvil at home base at this stage. 205 military for Anvil, only 73 for Trebuchets, as they're getting their production kind of back on track here, but still struggling to get a good and efficient trade route running, even with the caravanserai in between here to boost the movement speed of the trade unit as well. Let's see how much they bring back this time. 74, yeah, so that's almost double the yield of gold from the full trade route there. Joey Puravida, trying to pick a fight against John here, but he's so massively outnumbered here that should be an easy hold for Joe, for John. Has a massive amount of naval armies and also gone into quite a few pikemen on land, which don't really serve any purpose anymore. So maybe John should consider deleting some of those now to free up population space for even more military on water or anything to make life tough for trebuchets on land. Must be exhausting to play games like this. Always have to pump out production and do your best. First, Dromon is the first time ever I've seen a Dromon in action here. I'm looking forward to seeing how they perform on water. Maybe they could also raid land units. Let's see. It's basically like a budget cannon galleon. It's like a mangonel on water, right? Seems to do decent, even against galleys as well. I think that Italian castle is going to go down even without the help of cannon galleons over here. There we go, it's down. Applejack forced to go back on water here with the galleons, so the Hindustan is now scores in the favor of Anvil here, and military numbers still slightly in favor of them. Trebuchets actually with a healthier economy again now, so they might just turn this around once again, as a group of arballists from Kruppe will try to stop this castle from securing the trade in the middle for Trebuchets. But Trebuchets still have some work to do to compromise Anvil's economic situation on land. Kruppe is not going to struggle for resources anytime soon, so there's still so much resources to go on for Anvil here. Good aggression as well, but the Gulams, elite Gulams, come in here to clean up this arbalest mass. That shouldn't be any issue at all anymore. They have such, like, Hindustani's equivalent of elite Eagle Warriors here. They're going to run fast and catch up with these arbalests and just melt. Still anyone's game at this point. Look at the military situation on Team Islands now, back in equal mass here. Dromons, I'm not sure how efficient they will be against guard towers or keeps, to be honest. I would say that Anvil still seem to have the convincing naval advantage here. As they keep trebuchets consistently off their own territory. Robots trading well against trebuchets harvest now. Good, great fight for Anvil over here. Allows them to once again push the side where the trade is happening here. Ooh. Water Magadals slaughtering the hand cannoneers there. Great hits from John there. Good spot to see the hand cannoneers going that way. They would probably trade well against the Gulams as well. And we'll see that these Dromons are an underrated unit against large groups of land units as well when you can hit them. Feels like Anvil has a healthier fish situation going on. In fact, trebuchets, they aren't fishing at all anymore. Which I guess gives Anvil an opportunity to go land as well. At this point, Kruppe could go Korean's Hussar and actually actually benefit from it, because Applejack doesn't have that much gold in the bank to respond with heavy camels to do that at this point. So that would be a means to raid the raid situation as well. Once again, Kruppe manages to get the landing down. The elite Gulams in place here, but now the siege onagers from the Koreans. Out of 2 siege workshops here, they have the unique technology in as well, which means that they have no or smaller minimum range as well. Arbalists don't really stand a chance against the Gulabs, but the Siege Onagers could make big work of them still. A couple of good hits. I feel like Anvil needs some Sicilian's Cavalier back on Trebuchet's side, though, to deal with elite Gulabs, perhaps. But their main focus seems to be on the water here now. Danielmite joining from the back here as well now, getting a bit of a sandwich maneuver going on against John's and Imoticon's armies over here. It's just back and forth about everything here now. There's land fighting you need to react to, and then there's suddenly Anvil, when they try to reclaim the land through raids, they're finding themselves in awkward spot with the naval fighting here. Trebuchets once again 50 military ahead, dead even in the economy at this point as well. Such a crazy game. Right, now siege elephants for Applejack. Skill transport them over maybe. Oh, okay, they had pause. Could be a drop, could be something else. Is Caravanserai allowed? Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. As far as I know, it has been fixed. Right? That rule was... it's not in the handbook. Yeah, I wrote a... Uh, uh, uh. Yeah, Caravanserai was bugged at a point. So that's why they are asking about it. It was bugged at some point because uh, in a way that boosted heavy camels and land units in a ridiculous way, not just the trade carts, and healing them as well. So, but that's, to my knowledge, it's been fixed a while ago, so they can just play on. Yeah, guess we'll just wait for the game to catch up. I hope the same player unpaused the game, because if they didn't, then I'll be stuck here. and we won't know the ending of this game. Okay. Oh, they're still discussing it.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I think there's a time limit. No. Okay, we're good. That temporary value never even made it to the handbook, so that's bad admining. Trebuchets, they are recovering for sure. They're still behind the deco. They're ahead in military again now. Left side, they seem to be pushing both sides with Daniel White here. Daniel White also pushing further in on John here. But there's some fast fire ships. We need some heavy demos on the field there. Siege Elephant for Applejack. They've probably been used to clean up something on land here, but they might be some kind of plan to transport them over to cause some ruckus on Anvil's side. Now these are like Daniel White and Applejack on this side, and Daniel White over on this side as well, so they could push from both sides. They're taking out the towers here. They will take out the markets and stop the trade from running potentially as well. Gold, an issue for Emoticon. John has almost 10k gold in the bank, so maybe some communication issues here if that is preventing Emoticon in any way from producing. Iron casting, infantry upgrades coming in for Kruppe. I'm not sure what those are gonna do for them here. But obviously it must mean some kind of an infantry switch. Maybe with the Gulams in mind. They want to deal with the Gulams with champions of the Koreans. Great fight still for Trebuchets on this side. Left hand side they're also taking out land defenses. The towers on the shoreline. Stone is running low here. Kruppe can afford another castle if need be, but probably will want to commit to towers. Maybe some guard towers down here would help the case. No, there are. I mean, Daniel White and Applejack are fighting right in the reinforcements here now. They're obviously trying to take out docks for production. But what I like to see is that they're pushing on both sides and they are taking out the markets here, which will eventually force Anvil to rebuild the trade maybe further down and get less yield from the trade gold situation. Much gold in the bank though, much better gold situation for Anvil here. If John would share with Emoticon until Emoticon can get the trade running sufficiently as well. This doesn't seem to be addressed by Anvil currently. Just fish going on here, but here are the galleons from Emoticon. Is massing them up, getting ready to move to the left hand side once they have dealt with the aggression to the right here. Cannon galleons, can they range all of the markets? I think they can. Now only 3 markets left to take out, and that will leave the trade temporarily stopping here. procuring some transport ships here. That must be a misclick. There's not really going to be much to do with transport ships from this angle at this stage. Manages to get the landing here. The champions are in. Let's see the elite Gulabs against the champions. The champions should trade very well here, especially with the Arbalest to compensate. But the Gulabs diving right in for the Arbalest here. Barracks not able to complete the Gruppe over here. Maybe not enough champions here to deal with this situation. Gulabs. Here's Arbor is just ridiculous. I think you focus villagers here if you're Applejack. You want to focus the villagers so that they have to build more buildings here and obstruct your trade yet again. Daniel White needs to back off here for a bit now. Resources running thin for Trebuchets here. Daniel White not collecting wood at all. The trade has stopped, actually. Why is the trade idle for them? The markets have been taken out on Trebuchet's side as well. They have a shorter trade route running now, but they need to send the trade units back to work here for that to work out. And build. 102 military. Trebuchets, 206 military. This should mean military domination for Trebuchets, but they've yet to do something about the economic situation on land from Anvil. Yes, they've taken out the markets, but the markets are being rebuilt so that the trade is going to get back on track. Daniel White successfully taking out more docks down south of him now, and there are then the defensive fortifications protecting the docks to the south side here. Maybe it's going to be tough for John to get going. A wood situation. Wood is an issue here. They've run out of wood. GG, well played indeed. Anvil falling behind in military now because they simply don't have wood to keep producing. And what a game. What a game. Several comebacks from both teams this game. And in the end, it's who has the most wood that changed the outcome of the game. You can tell from the gold situation here for Trebuchets as well that having the caravanserai and having the trade running slightly faster is a huge deal. But you could say the same thing about Portuguese and Feitorias, right? So if either team had the chance to pick Portuguese here, that would be a game changer as well. But Portuguese was banned. So that was not an option to pick. I'm excited to see the kill death ratio though. I think another thing as well, until looking at the situation, okay, wood, maybe you can't sling that much wood if you're Krupa, but you could still sling gold earlier on. I don't know if they did actually. Let's see for the sling. Yeah, John received some slings, so maybe they've been slinging a bit in the end here. What I want to see is the KD situation. John, 859 kills. That's some dominant Byzantine's naval play there. And he want to come with the landing play as well. Properly annoying there. Took a long time for Trebuchets to clean that up and get their trade going eventually. But somehow it worked out for them in the end. Amazing game from Trebuchets to survive that. And I guess at this point in the game, they had the better options. With naval combat in mind. We didn't see a lot of land raids, so both teams made a good work, or especially Amil made a good work at keeping the land aggression away. So that's Hindustan is down, Bengalic's down, and what was the last one? We didn't see Dravidians, we saw Italians. So we're going to see Dravidians for 4 legs for sure if that's happening. But first we're going to get Socotra. It's going to be a good old mess. Looking forward to seeing that for sure. Byzantines, Koreans, Sicilians. That was our civilizations of choice for Anvil for this one. Restart the game. Hopefully my mods will work. And we'll hop into game 3 once we have it. For Socotra, what will we see here? I expect Teuton's Pocket. I suspect Malay flank, even if that's good for 4 legs as well. I kind of think that their super fast uptimes would make a difference. I can see a world in which Turks work and can see Magyars working for Pocket on Socotra as well. For lamed elephants and Mongols. We had Arabia for Jack's team Islands. Now we're gonna go Socotra. I'm thinking Teuton's Malay Mongols for Socotra here. And possibly a Khmer pocket for Emoticon's team. Poles flank and Chinese flank comes to mind, with an honorable mention of Berbers and Aztecs. That would work well as well. It remains to be seen. There we go. They've got all the players in. Looks like it's the same lineup, unless I'm mistaken. We're gonna need to agree on Sibs before jumping into the potential set-winning Socotra. So, Saracens, Socotra civilization? Question mark. Market usage. If you get push of gold, and building bonus against archer bonus damage against buildings. Tatar's last pick probably not going to be used here. I guess Berbers, Aztecs, Saracens is a plausible situation as well. Cheaper cavalry for the Berbers, Aztecs, monks, siege, men at arms towers, and then Saracens from the other flank. Oh, they might be making changes actually. see. They might have launched. Here we go. So Kotra coming up. So, what do we have here? Teutons, as suspected, in the pocket, and Malay and Mongols. Last pick, Tatars! John going for the last pick here. For Socotra, that is the last pick, isn't it? It's the last pick. Mind games from Anvil there, maybe they just forgot to pick it earlier. Tatars, 50% more food from the sheep. So if you are able to keep your sheep on Socotra and maybe lame a few from your opponent as well, then that's obviously going to benefit you. You have the elevation advantage, which gives Tatars plus 25% extra bonus damage. So they're cavalry archers and whatnot. I suppose even towers and castles benefit from that extra ranged damage. Khmer in the pocket could be a means to speedrun Khmer towards the Castle Age and just rely on your flanks to keep the opponents busy for long enough that the Khmer can power into the Castle Age much faster than any of the others and overwhelm the opponents with siege and knights in an early Castle Age. But it also would work well for just straight scouts, not needing a barracks in advance. So what right is, we have to be on the lookout for laming here. Already we got elephant already scouted for John. It's a good advantage for the team Anvil here. Let's have a look at the opposing side. Already some issues here in the build with the hunt so close to each other. John going to move right out to wall the berries and probably the gold here as well. Elephant now brought in, so no laming on this side. Right hand side also brought in the elephant, so we're not going to see any elephant lames here actually. White CA scouts run in here. And that's some really extensive wall. There's lots of wood. 36 palisades, no, 16 palisades going up around these berries. John isn't taking any chances. Wants to obstruct the Mongols as much as possible, but does it really obstruct the Mongols to wall in their berries when the hunt looks like this on Socotra? I don't think so. I'm sorry to say to John that this is just a waste of wood, not really setting Joy Pura Vida back at all here. He's moving out to push the... Yeah, he's pushing the red hunt now as well. He's taking the furthest away hunt. Could even build this area with the Mongols if need be. The first building is, of course, the lumber camp, as you'd expect. Fun thing is, Joy Pura Vida doesn't need to worry about this at all. Because he has the 40% faster collection of hunt with the Mongols. It doesn't matter. And meanwhile, John hasn't even scouted the hunt, or barely even scouted it, so he's gonna lose some precious close to home resources because of that as well. It's gonna push in now as well, but that's about it. Yeah, so to the civilizations: Aztecs, Tatars, Khmer for Anvil, Teutons, Malay, Mongols for Plebuchase. Already seems like Plebuchase will go completely crazy with the uptimes here. They're already set up with a faster approach here, looking at probably an earlier loom because of the laming for Anvil. So it's they're behind 4 villagers in the progression already. Kruppe about to potentially lose one as well as Dainio might manages to stop. Gruppe from walling in all of the gold, I suppose. And also another... It's not that big of a deal for Danielmite to lose access to this gold either, because he has gold in the back here, and that's one that Gruppe hasn't scouted yet. One builder lost for Gruppe, no kills for Flemish, so in the midst of all of this, Gruppe has also unfortunately lost one villager to the mighty Gaia, or the elephant, most likely. It's all or nothing for Anvil here now. They need to win this game, and they need to perform their reverse sweep against Flemish, and admittedly, that is kind of a concern for Anvil, because they need to win 3 games in a row to win this playoff. That messes with your head. It's already been roughly 2 hours, and they need to really up their game to take one game. But winning a game of the group stage winner would also be a big deal here. Nice walling in the gold here as well. I mean, there's one villager collecting gold for Joey Pura Vida, but she's stuck. Oh, she's not going to go anywhere. You tower this area or send some watchers forward. It's not going to be much happening there. 15 builders up for Joey Pura Vida. And since he's on gold, that's actually going to be the archers and not the scouts for the Mongols here. Good pick off. With the feudal age kicking in for the Mongols. We would be looking at a stronger scout as well, but that scout has already been lost for our grey friend over here. Emoticon also in the feudal age, though, with the convert here is obviously going to go for the scouts here, whereas our Mongols player is going straight for the range. Emoticon on point with the scout here, has feudal age in. He does not commit to the archery range building builder, though. He wants to free up the gold here instead, with some palisades trying to complete around the gold here. I think Joey Pura Vida will be able to stop that from being walled in completely, though. It's going to be an awkward gold mine situation. Also, having to invest into a second gold mine at this stage in game is not ideal for Plebiches. It's 100 wood that could have gone into other useful applications. So John is the labor boy big time here. He's got lots of idle time to suffer. 21 population still in the Dark Age, suffering from food loss after having Joy Pura Vida push in some of his, in quotation marks, deer. However, the Emoticon has been left fairly untouched. He's seeding some of those quick and efficient Khmer farms, and seems to be able to establish a scouts numbers lead over Teutons, even with or maybe as a result of the super fast time with Khmer here and straight into the stable without the need of a barracks. Gruppe moving out with some villagers. No, it's just gonna go hunt actually. That's lots of exposed villagers where Emoticon could get some. No, I mean Applejack could get some juicy pickups over here while Emoticon scouts are elsewhere. Relatively similar in hit points here, but the Teuton scouts getting a pick off there, so they are now officially in the numbers lead. And they'll finally approaching feudal age for all their players as well. Aztecs at a 24 population. Is this a fast castle age attempt? No, can't be with this kind of setup. No farms yet. All in the stone here, just to make defensive and offensive towers more difficult as well. And John is going into some infantry here. Why the infantry? There are already archers out. Scouts and archers. Such a powerful combination on open maps. Maybe it's just a means to get some military out before being able to produce the archers. Safe gold in the back for John. This is just a few tiles and a wall, and you're completely safe from the scouts of the opponent. Archers, more of an issue, but I guess you could use your own archers and potentially skirmishers to defend, as Ivotegal gets a good pick off here on some of Joey Pura Vida's archers. But is the aggression good enough to keep Anvil away here? I'm not too sure about that. John dropping the blacksmith now, that's already been up for a while for Joey Pura Vida, so Joey has stretching in, has had it for a while. And it's going to be the archers for the Malay and the Aztecs as well. Obviously, going to be an extended feudal age here. There's no sign of any player going to be able to click Castle H anytime soon. Pocket players are kind of cancelling each other out, but Ivotegal has way more scouts now than Applejack. That's the two. Neither of them had any upgrades, but Anvil is the team taking the better fights now. There are once again chasing the archers, while the Mongols could pick up a builder here, Joey Pura Vida, if need be. Scouts not risking running into the woodland there probably makes sense. I'm kind of feeling some towers here now, to be honest. One tower here to deny this gold, one tower here, if we're able to somehow. So that's gonna cost you stone. But in this sense, I mean, if you place a tower in this area for John, you could deny the gold, and you'd also have a point of refuge for your armies to regroup with Ivotegal's armies. Strong pressure for Anvil. They are even in military numbers with Trebuchets, but Trebuchets, because of their lower idle towns at the time, I think, overall, they are ahead by a few villagers still. Oh, the quick wall. Nice. So he first to move in here. If you're Applejack, you could risk getting trapped in between these houses. Just delete that house and place a palisade foundation, and suddenly 4 scouts are yeah, unavailable for use. 8 scouts to 5 scouts, but look at the eco progress here for Applejack. It's getting dangerously close to that Castle HK. Has some spearmen mixed in as well, which makes it harder for Ivotegal to engage. Now engages against John's berry picker over here. John already set far behind, isn't really in that spot to be able to produce enough military to keep up here. Aggression on the right hand side from Truppe. Can't really reach the woodland though, can he? Fletching is in. He gets a villager. Gets a villager. And if he gets to the back here and gets to deny the Malay gold, that's huge as well. But I don't think he sees it. He doesn't have it scouted. Just now, Arbor is coming in for the Malay archers. No skirmishers. Does is going for skirmishers here, as Ivotegal is losing some scouts numbers, so that's what makes it viable, I guess. Castle is now only 10 minutes away from Applejack, who's been keeping up nicely against the Khmer 16 population scouts here, which I'm impressed that Ivotegal's been able to go up that fast and still produce scouts that early, but I think his economy might have suffered from it in the early feudal age. He cooperates well in. Wheelbarrow in as well, that makes it makes the villager faster, so they can more easily run away from raiding parties. But the fact remains that one player is on the way to the Castle Age, and that is Applejack in the green. Going to get those. It's like a repeat of the first Arabia game, right? The timings. You have one pocket player so far ahead to the next stage than the other, so that you'll get those powerful knights out before The other pockets can even engage. The emoticon committing to forging as well is close to clicking up to the next stage. So, should he cancel forging now or just click Castle Age? I don't think he expects Castle Age for the Teutons here at this point, to be honest. Because Anvil have been playing the aggression well this game. They're sort of setting up for a long team wall in the middle here as well, so still got all to play for here. Anvil. But the archers numbers of the Mongol stats looking risky here. Double stables knights from the Teutons here now. Farming economy almost sustainable enough to support it. What's the gold situation? Gold is a big issue for Applejack here. Isn't able to get that many knights out because of gold getting exposed by Kruppe, most likely. Is this a situation where Applejack actually adds another town center on Socotra here, on that gold? Definitely has a spot for it over here. And the early knights also able to, even though there's a choke point here for the Aztecs range units, Applejack eats up all of them, just like that. Trebuchets 42, Anvil 28. 4 knights, but that production ceased as Applejack is not on gold at all. What's going on here? Why is Applejack not on gold? Now he's finally pulling back to the gold. But he also struggles a bit for food. That Castle Age hasn't given Applejack nearly as much as you'd hope for here. And there's a hole. Extremely deadly raids against Kruppe here now. Kruppe going to lose large masses of builders here potentially. Scout with +1/+1 that helps out a bit, but there's +2 for the Teutons. Cavalry units here, and they also have the Teutons bonus of +1 additional melee armor, as you can see. Horrible army for Kruppe to face at this point here. Left hand side, John is moving out with a very sizable chunk of archers now. He's committed to feudal age, yes, but he has an army size large enough to really cause issues for Joey Puravida. I wonder if he should have committed maybe to this side. Does he know about the gold to the side? Yeah, of course he knows about that gold. He walled it in. But the fact that trebuchets have had these kinds of golds in the back of the bases has really been helping them a lot this game. And you could argue that the scouting of Anvil was a bit unfortunate in terms of spotting those resources as well. Khmer stables producing knights. John, no, Emoticon, sorry, with 3 stables to produce from. What's his resource situation like? He's got the food. Placing him in the 4th stable. Just really wants to boost those numbers. +2 defense is not in, +2 attack is though. There's some impressive archers into crossbow play from Joey Puravida here, so making it really awkward for Emoticon to actually use the cavalry numbers for anything here. It's trying to commit elsewhere, keep his teammates safe, so John could also get to Castle Age with his archers to turn into crossbows. But look at this raids here from Applejack. All of the wood level Emoticon going down just like that. The pocket is taking a beating here now, and it's only saved by the civilization bonus that lets you hide inside houses, but that's obviously just going to be a temporary solution here as Emoticon loses all wood access. Maybe not the most crucial thing at this point. Still no Castle Age click possible for John, and he commits his feudal age archers. Admittedly, he has more numbers, but he is outmatched by 2 range and also higher damage. 3,000 centers for Applejack here. Not something seen too commonly on Socotra, because the map is so small and cramped, but huge Teutons boom going on here now as Anvil flanks have clicked to the Castle Age as well. Good job of John to keep this archers army safe from the masses of the trebuchets, but it has come at a cost for Emoticon, who isn't really able to produce nearly enough knights to survive here. +2 defense coming on. Were the laming efforts too much for Anvil here, I wonder? Daniel White now with a strong push on the right hand side as well. 18 crossbows, 2 Mangonels going to take out the one and only, no, up to ranges for the Aztecs, but they are going to take out the production capabilities of the Aztecs. This is not the kind of map where you are easily able to get a defensive castle up, so it's going to make that siege push all that more stronger as well. Can't believe John has been able to keep this mass alive in the Tatars. If he finds a hill to seek refuge on here, it could honestly be a decent fight for John here. Droidberida realizing though, still using that range advantage to try and pick up units here, but still not having ballistics. That hurts, of course. Thunbreak kicks in instantly for Tatars as well, reaching the next age. That's Castle Age in right now. It's gonna go for crossbow god Bodkin if affordable. Bodkin should be first. There we go. No, he can afford both actually. No, there's crossbow. And I say castles aren't easily affordable, but Kruppe has managed somehow after all. If the castle completes, it's gonna be fine, but there's a huge mass of dynamite here to make that castle incredibly costly for Kruppe. I don't think that can complete. Especially not with the knights joining in here. Kruppe with some panic quick walls here, but loses so many villagers in the process. 39 villagers. Defensive castle not gonna go up for now, and then might obviously is going to keep the armies close to this castle foundation to make sure that it just can't ever complete for the purple player. Could send some stray crossbows over to the very exposed economy on this side to make both gold and wood access awkward as well. Teuton's cavalry, they have that extra melee armor, and they are joined by a huge mass of crossbows here, so I don't think Imot the Count stands a chance in this fight. And look at the villager numbers! 80 villagers more for Play Chase now. They're really putting up a show here, as John has extended into some additional town centers here as well, getting some good boost from the deep underneath DC as well, but the fact remains that Play Chase are miles ahead in the economy, and they're conserving their army numbers nicely as well. I guess Kruppe is going to complete this one. He's going to secure this gold and the farming economy with this defensive castle. But at what cost? You lose almost 20 villagers to the raids in the process. WJ is now on the offensive. They are coordinating their armies nicely. This is 3 versus 2 situation here now against Anvil's much smaller army here. Can't outrun that. Maybe we'll might just have to try and trade as well as possible here. Look at that Teuton's economy! At this rate, Applejack will reach Imperial Age soon. This is snowballing out of control for Anvil here, unfortunately. They are losing numbers on the front side, about to be raided here. Imot the Khan and home base as well. Imot the Khan not really able to protect the economy well here. Does afford an additional town center, so could place town centers on the woodlands and or the golds here. But looking at the numbers, it's 4 times the military size of Trebuchets, and they are consistently expanding their economy behind it as well. The raid at the very exposed woodland of Imot Khan here obviously hasn't been able to prioritize walling off and securing the home base. Is had to make military and try to keep up with the Trebuchets, especially the pocket of Teutons. But now we have 36 knights from the Teutons to only 5 knights from the Khmer. And on a map like Socotra, where speed matters less. Not having husbandry with the Teutons isn't that big of a deal. Good raids here by Joey Pura Vida now. 45 economic kills so far this game. It's the death blow from Plebichase here, diving in with the massive amounts of Teuton's Knights to take out the one and only town center in Ingotukan in the pocket. Good efforts from Anvil, but Plebichase remain the masters of Division 6 with not a single set lost, so that will be taken into account for the next season. We will try to place them in a... try to reward them for winning their division, of course. Let's have a look at the stats. Congratulations to Plebichase. GG well played to Anvil for the runners up spot. Massive KD here for Joey Pura Vida. Did manage to take out lots of both economy and military here. Good efforts of John to conserve the Archer Mass for so long, but eventually was consistently fighting uphill battles with Tatars, funnily enough, and then not able to keep up with the proper upgrades. Maybe a little bit heavy on the laming approach in the beginning of the game for Anvil, but what can you do? You're up against a stronger opponent, by the looks of it, so you need to try and make things happen to buy yourself as good of an advantage as possible. And the maps that Plebichase were dealt, to be honest, gave them some relatively safe gold access in the backs or the backsides of their bases, so that makes it harder for Anvil's kind of approach to work out in the end. GG well played though. Let's have a look at let's cross off the remaining civilizations here. That would be the Mongols, Teutons, and Malay winning that one against the Khyber Tatars, last pick. And what was the last one again? Aztecs. GG well played. 3-0 for Plebichase. Let's note it in our bracket. Not without resistance here for the Plebichase. Especially the Team Islands game could have easily gone either way. And they were saved by the Bell, or in this case the Caravanserai of the Hindustanis. There we have it. Season 5, Division 6 concluded.